Welcome back to the final round of the MAI Bangkok Business Challenge at SASIN 2012. Let me remind the audience that the finalists will be announced. The winner will be announced this afternoon during His Majesty the King's Award Ceremony, which will be televised here on the Money Channel from around 3:45 p.m. onwards. So we've had two teams already. Please welcome our third team from University of Oregon, United States, Team Corrosion Solutions. Let me remind the team, you have 13 minutes to do your presentations, of which the judges may ask questions after 5 minutes have passed. And then you have 3 time notifications, one at 5 minutes after you start to allow for the interactive session, and then 3 minutes and 1 minute before the end. So please keep an eye on these two lovely ladies in the front here. For our guests, please turn off all your mobile devices and please do not leave the room. ช่วยปิดมือถือเครื่องมือสื่อสารทุกชนิดนะครับแล้วก็กรุณาอย่าออกจากห้องครับ So without further ado, the team, are you ready? Okay, we'll start the clock as soon as you start. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Hello, my name is Jake Heckathorn. This is Brian Ayler and Jeff Matthews. We're from the University of Oregon. We're excited to present this amazing investment opportunity to you, Corrosion Solutions. At our core, we protect your steel. We have a game-changing technology that enables manufacturers who use stainless steel in high-temperature environments, from 300 to 800 degrees Celsius.
Can you speak closer to the mic? Thank you.
They can increase their corrosion protection. This is a patented technology that comes out of the United States Department of Energy. It was developed specifically to promote clean power generation in tomorrow's power plants, turbines, and solid oxide fuel cells. Our technology is applicable to a wide range of applications, including heat exchangers, boilers, and fuel cells, as I just mentioned. But there's also consumer products such as barbecue grills that our technology is also applicable for. We're going to first start in the barbecue grill market, and then once we have traction and we're cash flow positive, we're going to move into more sophisticated markets, such as heat exchangers and turbines. In terms of operations, this is very simple. We have a disruptive technology that does not disrupt the supply chain. We seamlessly fit into what manufacturers are already doing. In 5 years' time, we have a projected revenue of $28 million and a valuation of $70 million. To achieve that goal, we're looking for an investment of $1 million in return for a 35% equity stake. To give you an example of some of the pain that manufacturers are experiencing right now, let's take a look at just one market, the steam turbine market. One of the major players, General Electric, who owns over $4 billion producing these turbines, earns an additional $700 million just maintaining and repairing these turbines. Due to the high temperatures and high pressures these products are under, they're constantly corroding and disintegrating and need to be replaced or refurbished. Our product can help increase the corrosion protection of those high temperature equipment. Our product is different from a traditional paint or coating which simply rests on the surface. Our product is unique in that it diffuses into the metal. It changes the outer 1 millimeter, creating a new metal alloy, which doesn't scratch off or chip off or flake off as easily. As I mentioned, this is a patented technology that comes out of the Department of Energy. It's proven and has been vetted by industry experts. For example, it won an R&D 100 award for its innovation and commercial viability. In addition, it's been proven on over 75 grades of steel and 4,000 hours of laboratory data to back that claim up. I'm the founder of Corrosion Solutions. I worked for Boeing for the last 5 years. This is Brian Ayler. He has international supply chain operation experience, in addition to successfully launching and selling his own business. Our CFO, Jeff Matthews, has an extensive background in finance, in addition to working on his master's in information systems. Now, we know the three of us are not everything that we need to bring this to market and to be successful. So we've also secured a commitment from the inventor of the technology, Dr. Paul Jablonski. His experience will be invaluable. However, we also have a commitment from Michelle Allen, who has an extensive background in destructive turbine testing. Her knowledge of the sales cycle and what manufacturers are looking for in proof of a technology will be critical going forward. We're also looking for other experts who have experience in the industry to add to our board of advisors. As I mentioned, we're going to take this technology first in the barbecue grill market. From there, as we prove ourselves, we'll then be able to tackle these more sophisticated markets, like heat exchangers and turbines. I'm now going to pass it to our Chief Officer of Operations, who's now going to explain some of the details of how we're going to increase the margins for manufacturers.
Thanks, Jake. As Jake mentioned, we're going to start off in the barbecue grill market. Specifically, we have 3 value propositions in the markets that we're entering. Currently, barbecue grill manufacturers use powder coating to protect their surface. Our product can replace powder coating. It will reduce the amount of chips because our technology doesn't chip, and it will save costs. Specifically, it will save $150 per grill produced. The second way that we provide value to our customers is allowing them to use lower quality steel. Because we're providing the protection on the surface of the product, there doesn't need to be as high quality of steel underneath it. So in heat exchangers specifically, we can allow them to reduce their steel from 22% chromium to 12% chromium, while still maintaining the same protection. This projects to be a $4,500 savings per unit in heat exchangers. The third value proposition that we have is to enable manufacturers to physically use thinner steel. This is significant in heat exchange in turbines because it will allow them to use less steel, making a more product that can operate in higher temperature environments and increase the efficiencies of their turbines. The savings here is approximately $118,000 per unit. Now, the process, as Jake mentioned, that's in place right now is already what we need. There are no changes needed. It's a simple plug and play. So you have the specs on one end, and then from there you move to the fabricator. They physically make the product as it's been outlined. Then it goes into the heat treat, and that's where we fit in. So here you can see that the powder coating is the third step. We would simply replace the powder coating. Then it goes into the ovens, finishing, and distribution, just like it exists today. So if you think about it in terms of an ink cartridge, where you pull out a color ink or a black ink cartridge and just plug in a new cartridge, that's our product replacing powder coating.
Excuse me.
Yes.
If I was GE, I would be loath to give up $700 million worth of income in repairs.
That's a great question. One of the things we've actually seen from the CEO of General Electric is that they're seeking to increase their market share from 40% to 50%. So that extra $1.5 billion would easily make up for the $700 million that they might sacrifice some of. However, they'd still maintain a lot of that maintenance money because we're not going to eliminate all $700 million of that.
Have you read a thesis by someone called Vance Packard, which is called Built-in Obsolescence, which all car manufacturers follow so that things do break down? It's actually part of industry practice. They don't want something that causes it to last longer. Have you read that?
I have not read that.
Have a look at it sometime.
It's on my list of books to read now.
It's called The Wastemakers. It's clear you're making an alloy at the surface. I think that's understood, as otherwise you make the whole thing an alloy, it's very expensive. So I just wonder, with the vested interest, and the way that the American industry works is always on percentages. So the higher they sell something, the more money they make. Now, as soon as you get down to reducing their costs, what do you say? Do they pass it on to the consumer or not?
So I think you're exactly right. In, for example, the barbecue grill market, these manufacturers probably don't want their grills to last indefinitely. That would ruin their business, I agree. But in some of these higher value pieces of equipment like a turbine, where if it breaks down, that's millions of dollars in repairs. If you can have that system last just a little longer, the manufacturer can absorb those savings, but the customer will also have a lower maintenance cost.
But you're just conflicting the revenue model you just said, because your business start out with the barbecue grill market, correct?
Correct.
What kind of, do they pay you by unit cost, or that they lower the cost, or they pay you for the licensing? What does this barbecue manufacturer pays you?
Yeah, it might have been a little unclear. The only part that we do is produce our solution. So we'll produce the solution in-house and then send that to the heat treat facilities, and they apply the product themselves. So they are purchasing the product that we're making, which is a drum of solution, which they can pour into their guns and spray on, or dip, or whatever they're currently doing. Does that answer
So
your
you have
question?
your own manufacturing?
Yes.
I see.
How can you control the quality? Meaning that they have to apply the solution themselves? Will you have the warranty guarantee that with this kind of technique that it can last 1 year, 2 years, that kind of thing?
Well, the great thing about the technology is that it can be easily applied. As you mentioned, a spray, a brush, or a dip. These are all very consistent methods of being able to apply it. In addition, the heat treatment facility who will be doing this heat application, these are trained professionals who will easily be able to do this process repeatedly and consistently.
So you're saying that the heat treatment facilities, they don't have to invest in any different machine from the original coating that they're doing, but just use your solution and then they get better product.
That's exactly correct.
So continuing on then, assuming that we can get the distribution as the same as before, the next step is to sell our product. And we'll do that in 2 ways. First, we'll keep the key accounts in-house to keep control of our company. But for the smaller accounts, the more regional accounts that are smaller market players, we'll have third-party manufacturer reps leverage the networks that they already have to connect with those companies. And now to discuss the financials, I'll pass it off to Jeff.
Thank you very much, Brian. So I'd like to walk you through our revenue projections by market as we forecast it out through 2017 over the next 5 years. As my colleagues have mentioned, the first market we will be entering is the barbecue market. And the revenue out through 2017 has progressive growth, and in this market alone, we can return positive investment for the shareholders without entering any additional markets. The market itself in the United States has 8.5 million gas grills sold annually. And in order to achieve our numbers by 2017, we are looking for 150,000 units to be coated with our product. It is a very achievable market penetration number. Beyond that, we enter into the high temperature heat exchanger market, of which there are 500 companies. By 2017, our penetration, we are looking to get in with 30 to 40 companies and approximately 27,000 coatings or retrofits on an annual basis. Beyond the high temperature heat exchanger market, we are looking at turbines. The turbine market is our most lucrative market. In terms of the actual numbers that we're looking at, in order to achieve our 2017 projections, we are looking at approximately 3 product lines across 1 to 3 major manufacturers, such as GE, Siemens, Solar, or smaller players in the 10 to 12 company range that may be doing original manufacturing or retrofitting. We are not looking for an all or nothing entry with a large player. We can achieve success with smaller players or smaller percentages of a larger player's product line.
As supplier to the barbecue business, of which is the very common market, they go for price. This kind of product will go for cost reduction all the time. So how do you think that you can maintain the growth like that? And also, if you want to sell exclusively to the bigger one, and then they will want exclusivity. But I don't think you want to go for the exclusivity. If you want to sell to many brands at the same time, they will negotiate for cost down all the time. And with many years to come,